Hey Potterheads, and welcome to episode 4 of the SecretKeepers Podcast, covering Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, chapters 14 through 16. Previously on the SecretKeepers. So he goes to the teacher's lounge, and he opens the door and sees Snape showing Filch his bloody leg. He says, "You know what this means? It means he tried to get past that three-headed dog at Halloween. And I bet my broomstick he'll let that troll in to get a diversion."
Boom! I called that.
Very good.
Snape's a jerk. Well, he's a part of you-know-who.
Harry remounts his broom and dives and then falls off it, but it turns out he caught the snitch in his mouth and Gryffindor wins. So how about our first game of Quidditch, huh? But Snape's trying to steal it.
Rubbish! You're meddling in things that don't concern you.
Harry wakes up Christmas morning. He's got presents, an invisibility cloak. Why do you think they told him to use it well?
They know that he's going to destroy Snape and the dark magic and whatever else that's going to happen.
I shall not use your face, but your heart's desire. Wow!
Whoa! No way!
Then Dumbledore tells Harry that the mirror will be moved, so don't go looking for it. But if he does come across it again, he will know how it works.
Where do you think the stone is?
Inside the dog?
You think, like, Quirrell would stop him, or it would stop him?
Quirrell would fall over, screaming, crying, like, run away.
This is the Secret Keepers. What's up, everybody? It's me, your host, Colin here. All right, take them.
Oh, sorry. Just drinking a nice warm cup of unicorn blood. Okay.
All right, Taylor, you know what to do.
I do? What?
You count me in. You do
Oh,
every time.
that's right. Okay. 3, 2, 1.
Time out. I forget what I say.
Hello, everybody.
Oh, yeah, I know what I say. Okay.
Go ahead. 3, 2, 1, go.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to our podcast with us. I'm your host, Colin.
And I'm your editor, Taylor.
And I'm the star of the show, Jared.
All right. So it's President's Cup weekend over here. So just to give you guys a little...
Boring. No one cares.
Get out of here, that trash.
No one cares. Yeah, get that trash out of here.
USA.
I don't actually know how the USA is doing. Are they winning right now?
No, they're down 10-8.
Oh, they had a big comeback. They were down 4-1 or something, weren't they?
Yeah.
Jared, you know what time it is. It's time for that 30-second summary. Go.
Alrighty. We read chapters 14 through 16, correct?
I hope so.
I
All
hope
right.
you did.
Okay, chapter 14. Hagrid hatches a dragon. After he wins it, or he gambles for it, I guess.
Yep.
In chapter 15, Harry, Hermione, Malfoy, and Neville were all expelled.
It's
So,
all expelled?
And they're going into the woods to find out what's killing unicorns. They figure out it's Voldemort. In chapter 16, it's entitled Through the Trap Door. Harry, Hermione, and Ron go and head down the trap door to find out who's after the Sorcerer's Stone.
Okay, so let's just pick it right up with chapter 14 then. Norbert, the Norwegian Ridgeback. Now, this chapter to me is relatively pointless to the overall scheme or theme of the book, I would say, just to me at least. So we're probably going to skim through this a little bit faster than the other ones because we got a lot of stuff to get to, a lot of exciting things that happen. So,
Yes, indeed.
last we left off, Snape and Quirrell, they were having a little chat in the Forbidden Forest, and Harry overheard Snape threatening him. at least that's what it sounded like. So it turns out that Quirrell's braver than what they thought, because as school is going on, he's still hanging in there, and Snape's still a little bit grumpy. So they figure that he's hanging on. The squad starts giving Quirrell some encouragement and telling all those people who are mocking him to kind of back off. But yeah, Hermione, she's worrying about exams. She's trying to get study schedules together for him. And so they go to the library. And while they're in the library, they're studying, they're looking through books, and they run into Hagrid in the library. And he looks a little bit shifty. And they told him that they figured out about Nicholas Flamel. And then he kind of, they see he's like, oh, you're looking a little bit shifty, you know? So they go check out what he's looking at, and it turns out he's looking at books about dragons. He invites them over to his hut to talk more about the stone, and he takes off. He doesn't want to be caught seeing all that stuff. He was researching dragons on his own, and then this is where we find out that there are wild dragons in Britain. So, by logical deduction, that means there's wild dragons in America too, right?
Right, Jared?
No. There's nothing logical about that.
Okay. Well, wouldn't that be sweet if there was?
No. I'd be scared.
terrifying.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but
Keep
you're
them
not
over
gonna-
there.
How do you know you didn't already run into one?
Good question. I have no idea.
If you did, you'd imagine that they would they would erase your memory of it or something, wouldn't you?
No, I don't know.
Yeah, that's Charlie's job, isn't it? To do that? Erase people's minds if they've seen a dragon.
Yeah.
Charlie.
Turns out that the Ministry of Magic has to put people under memory charms who have seen one, and it's quite a task. That's what Charlie does.
We read about that?
Yeah.
Yeah, we did.
No.
Believe it or not, Jared, we did.
Yeah, it's in there. Anyways, so they go down to Hagrid's hut, and there's all the blinds are closed, everything's shut, and there's a huge fire going. The squad directly asks Hagrid what else is guarding the stone, but he won't tell him. And then after a little bit of flattery from Hermione, Hagrid agrees to tell them who helped set guards in front of the stone, or in place of it, to protect the stone. So he tells them that it was Sprout, Flitwick, McGonagall, Quirrell, and Dumbledore and Snape. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people. And then he immediately comes to Snape's defense when they start questioning Snape.
You're still not on about that, are you? Look, Snape helped protect the stone. He's not about to steal it.
Okay. So yeah, we find out that there's 6 guards in front of the stone. Snape helped do it. Jared, what were your thoughts at this point on this new development in our little mystery we got going on?
Well, didn't we know that there were enchantments in front of the stone?
They assumed that there were, but we didn't know, and we definitely didn't know who
I assumed
they were.
and then figured that would happen.
So the fact that you know the 6 people means nothing to you at this point, you would say?
It's just the professors at the
school.
At the school.
Okay. What do you think about Hagrid's defense of Snape?
He's just giving a front.
What do you mean?
He has to know that Snape is still trouble.
Hagrid?
Okay.
Then why would he do that? Why would he defend him then?
Because he can't let on that Snape's trouble.
But we know Hagrid's not really the best secret keeper in the world, don't we?
Ta-da! Secret keeper.
Oh, hey!
I didn't even plan that.
Wow.
So
All
what, Jared? Do you think that Hagrid's involved with Snape or what? Like he's a bad guy?
No, I think Hagrid's still good. Because he wouldn't have protected Harry and stuff otherwise.
When did he protect Harry? Think back to the beginning.
I don't know. Throughout the book, hasn't he? He's at least
and he's
kind
the
to
one.
Harry.
He's also the one who brought Harry to the Dursleys.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you remember that.
Yeah, I remember. Like 2 months ago.
Yeah.
Well, the squad sees that if Snape helped protect the stone, he obviously would know who the others were and possibly what theirs were, except for it turns out it seems like he doesn't know what Quirrell's are, what Quirrell's guard is, and how to get past Fluffy. Those are the two things it seems like he's kind of at the point he doesn't know what to do with. Hagrid assures him that only he and Dumbledore know how to get past Fluffy. And when he's telling Harry this, Harry's looking over at the fire and he sees a dragon egg. So yeah, it turns out that Hagrid won this in a game of cards and has been doing some research on how to take care of them, which is why he was in the library. And Hagrid is all prepared for hatching it because he tells them,
You've got to keep the egg in the fire, 'cause their mothers breathe on them, see? And when it hatches, feed it on a bucket of brandy mixed with chicken blood every half hour. And see here, how to recognize different eggs. What I got there is a Norwegian Ridgeback. They're rare, them.
all right. So I thought that was kind of cool how for dragons you got to feed them on a bucket of brandy. Because you
How
think
do
about
you-
it, like that's like the closest thing to fire that we have to eat or drink or whatever, right?
Brandy?
Yeah.
Fireball. Fireball's the closest.
Okay, but that's they're not gonna start dropping name brands in here.
Oh, okay.
You got royalties to worry about or whatever it is. But yeah, we find out it's a Norwegian Ridgeback, which
How do
is
you steal a dragon egg?
What?
what do you mean?
How do you get a hold of a dragon egg?
I don't know, Jared. Just snatch it from its nest.
With a other dragon that's breathing on it.
Oh, what if the dragon has to go get some food? Go, like, gobble up some goats or something. Then you get it. Just snatch them right up.
All right.
I don't think it would be that hard if you have a big group of people, right?
Yeah, more people to die. Good idea.
I lost my place.
I see that. Don't worry, I'll edit it out.
Good. So the squad leaves with one more thing to worry about. Now Hagrid has an illegal dragon egg, in his hut, and he's their friend, and they know about it, so they kind of could get in big trouble. So time goes on, and then one morning at breakfast, they get a letter from Hagrid that just says, it's hatching. So they get really excited, and they want to skip lessons to go see it, but Hermione won't let them because they say lessons are more important than something that's illegal, obviously.
Hermione is no fun. No fun at all.
Zero fun, sir. She's kind of like the mom of the group.
Hermione's the person who thinks they failed the test and then gets 100.
Definitely. Well, she tells him off a bit. We've got lessons. We'll get into trouble. And that's nothing to what Hagrid's going to be in when someone finds out what he's doing. So she's pretty worried. I mean, he's doing something illegal. Good reason to be worried, I guess. Well, Harry tries to quiet her, but it seems that Malfoy had overheard what she was saying to them.
There's some
Jared, do you think that
foreshadowing
Malfoy
there.
actually overheard them?
Yeah?
How do you know?
Well, because later in chapter... Oh,
Anyways,
all right.
after class, they run down to Hagrid's hut, and they see that the egg is on the table with a few cracks in it. They wait for a little bit, and then all of a sudden, after a bit of scraping, the dragon pops out of the egg.
Yay. It looks like a black umbrella.
I thought about this a little bit. So when I was redoing part of my house, there was a bat that flew in here, and like we caught it, and then we dumped it. We caught it in like a paint rag, and we dumped it in a paint bucket to take it out of the house. And then when I let it go, because I didn't want to
Did they
kill
get
it.
paint on it?
Yeah, it's dead. But it crawled out of the paint and out of the bucket, and it was like so terrifying. It looked so creepy, and that's like exactly what's going through my head right now with this dragon, just on a bigger scale, and it will kill me if it.
Yeah, and it coughs
really-
fire.
Right. So
Yeesh.
So yeah, they're all sitting around the table. There's Hagrid, there's Hermione, there's Ron, there's Harry, and who's that? Who's that other person? Jared. Who was the other person that was with him, Jared?
Malfoy.
Crikey! Welcome to Merlin Irwin's Magical Creatures Podcast within a podcast. I'm Merlin, your host. What's on the docket today, might I ask? Ooh, it's a Norwegian Ridgeback, and a cute one at that. Now let me tell you, he might look all cute and cuddly now, but these beasts are very dangerous, being classified as a 5X beast by the Ministry of Magic, which is to say, they're wizard killers. Now this one here won't learn how to shoot flames for about 1 to 3 months yet, but it does have a nasty venomous fang, so keep an eye out for those. This type of dragon is obviously native to Norway, but it does choose mammals for its food of choice. So keep an eye out if you're going for a peek at the northern lights, might I add. Rumor has it one of these beasts even carried off a white whale calf once. Now, if you run into one of these as an adult, well, congratulations, you've just arrived at your own barbecue. That being said, a well-targeted conjunctivitis curse has been rumored to save your skin on occasion. I have heard that a large group with stunning spells work as well, but you better act fast. Anyways, that's all I got for you. Thanks for listening to Merlin Irwin's Magical Creatures Podcast within a podcast.
Very well done.
Thanks, Merlin. Thanks for that.
See ya, Merlin. Always good to have him around.
Anyways, Jared, you were saying who else is around?
Malfoy.
And
Malfoy?
what's he doing?
Oh, he's peeking through the window.
Peeking through the window.
Like a little snooty boy.
Yeah, like a little, yeah. He's running back to the castle. For the next week, the squad has uneasy feelings because of the look on Malfoy's face. Harry keeps trying to tell Hagrid to let him go, but Hagrid can't because the dragon will die. Turns out that Hagrid's decided to call him Norbert, and that he's kind of growing out of control. He's doubled in size, and it's been like a week. So Ron comes up with the idea to send his brother Charlie, a dragon master, a letter to come pick him up. So a few nights later, Harry and Hermione are sitting in the common room, and Ron bursts in and has been bitten by the dragon. And he starts going off on the dragon. And then there's a knock at the window, and it's Hedwig with Charlie's letter. And Charlie says he's down to clown. He's going to meet them at the tallest tower because it's going to be illegal to make this transaction. He doesn't want anybody to see, so he'll do it at midnight and in the tallest tower. So they hatch a plan, obviously, to bring Norbert under
Hatch a plan.
Oh.
I'm really not trying, guys.
It just comes naturally.
So the next morning, Ron's hand is getting swollen because he got bit by the dragon. So he's not going to be able to help carry the dragon up to the tallest tower, and he has to go see Madame Pomfrey. Malfoy comes in to gloat about Ron being stupid, pretty much, and says his excuse is to borrow Ron's book, which Ron gives him. I don't know why. Incidentally, what does it have with it, Jared?
It has the letter from Charlie.
Exactly, which is not good. So Saturday night comes around, and they decide they got to go on with the plan anyways. So they'll be under the invisibility cloak. If somehow they can magically keep this dragon from making any noise at all, they'll be fine, which would never happen. But apparently,
and isn't it like really big now? Isn't it like the size of Hagrid's hut or something like that?
I thought she said something like that, but I also thought that it was like carrying I would assume is like a 2x4x3 box or something.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Maybe for some reason I'm thinking it was really big, but that wouldn't make any sense at all.
Well, Hagrid's hut isn't that big. I mean, he's big, but there's not really any rooms or anything. So, Harry and Hermione grab Norbert's crate and they haul him up to the tower. And on their way, they see Malfoy, and he's getting detention for trying to find them. And he kind of tells McGonagall that Harry Potter's coming and they're bringing a dragon, and she's all like, "Nah, that's not happening." Then Charlie's friends show up on broomsticks, and they take Norbert, and then the plan goes off without a hitch. Harry and Hermione celebrate for a little bit. They head back to the common room, and then they hear Filch. Well, we are in trouble.
And then the last sentence, they left the invisibility cloak on the tower.
Chapter 15, The Forbidden Forest. Now we're getting somewhere. Harry and Hermione have been captured by Filch. And they're waiting. They've been captured. They are now hostages. They are waiting in McGonagall's office, and they are certain that they will be expelled. McGonagall comes back with Neville, who also happened to be out. I don't remember why. But she came to the conclusion that they came up with a fake story to get Malfoy in trouble, which, okay, that works for me. She takes 50 points from each of them. 50. So what were we at? Harry had 1 point removed, then
Let's
1 point
be honest.
removed.
Let's be
and
honest.
then I think
The
he had
points
5
don't
points
matter.
given, and now he's down 50, like bam, like that.
Yeah, points are just teacher. This game makes no sense to me. Like teachers
Welcome
can
to
just
Whose
willy
Line
nilly.
Is It Anyway, where the points don't matter.
Yep.
So it turns out that 50 points from each person puts Gryffindor into last place in the House Cup overnight. Like that. Did you hear that? Could you hear that?
I heard that. Yeah,
Like,
it was a really good snap, Colin.
thank you.
You rival Thanos.
Oh, spoilers! Spoilers. Jared doesn't know anything about that.
No, he'll forget if he ever watches them anyway.
Get out of here.
So the next morning, everybody thought that there had been a mistake because there's all kinds of points missing. And then the news got out that it was Harry and a bunch of first years that did this, and they were not happy. I'm trying to think of something that you could compare this to. That would be comparable.
Somehow you ruin something for the whole class. Like you're talking too much or whatever, and the teacher's like, okay, we're not doing this, and everyone just hates you.
That's a pretty good one.
Yeah, that's
I can't just give. I need to give an example. I don't know what an example would be.
Okay. Well, I kind of got the idea.
Okay, well, think of an example then. I can't.
No, I can't either. Anyways. So Ron was the only one who stood by his side through all this and tried to comfort him by telling him how many points Fred and George had lost through all their different shenanigans at Hogwarts, but it doesn't do much for Harry. He decides he is done messing around with things that don't concern him.
Finished.
Yep. But then, a week later before exams, Harry overheard Quirrell whimpering again. No, not again, please. All right. And then the next second, Quirrell leaves the room. And Harry, because he's a little curious boy, peers in, and he sees an open door, but nothing else in there. And he thinks to himself...
Jared, what does he think?
Where's this?
No, just tell me what you remember.
I don't remember anything.
What's going on here? What do you think happened here?
Quirrell somehow gave Snape the enchantment in order to get past.
So you think Snape was in the room with Quirrell? Because it said Quirrell. Harry walked into an empty room.
But there was a door that stood ajar at the end.
Yeah, then Snape went out the other end or something like that.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So that's. Yep.
Oh yeah, it says Harry. All the same, Harry would have gambled 12 Sorcerer's Stones that Snape had just left the room, and from what he had just heard, Snape would be walking with a new spring in his step. Quirrell seemed to have given in at last. Which, of course, he did, because we're getting close to the end of the book, and the plot kind of needs to unfold. So think about what to do. He goes and tells Hermione, and finally she says, let's go to Dumbledore. But they can't because they have no proof. Harry kind of points this out. He says, Quirrell's too scared to back us up. Snape's only got to say he doesn't know how the troll got in at Halloween and that he was nowhere near the third floor. Like, what do you think they'll believe, him or us? It's not exactly a secret that we hate him. Dumbledore will think that we made it up to get him sacked. Filch wouldn't help us if his life depended on it. He's too friendly with Snape, and more students get thrown out, the better. And don't forget, we're not supposed to know about the stone or Fluffy. That'll take a lot of explaining. So they're kind of backed into a corner here, right?
Yeah, I before I listened to this or read this again, I was like, why wouldn't they just go to someone? But this paragraph or this clears it up.
Right, and they do.
Who's gonna believe them? I mean,
right,
Hagrid doesn't believe
about it.
What's that?
They do talk to McGonagall about it.
And Hagrid, and he doesn't believe him.
Right.
Yeah, right. Hagrid knows. I still think they could have went to Dumbledore.
Really?
Yep.
And what would Dumbledore do?
Give them 150 points.
Nah. So.
I mean, sure, but like, I don't know.
I don't think so, Jared. If you're a really old professor, the head of the school, and three 11-year-olds come up to you and say, "We think this guy's doing this," or
one's Harry Potter.
What?
One's Harry Potter.
Yeah, an 11-year-old.
One 11-year-old Harry Potter.
Who is brand new to the wizarding world, just like you.
So
he doesn't know anything. He's an 11-year-old.
You don't think the heads of the school? Okay.
No, finish that thought. I want to hear what you had to say.
If you had a bad teacher, or is it Dumbledore? If he was a good guy, he would know that Snape wasn't.
So there's another. Do you think Dumbledore's a good guy?
As of right now, yes. I don't have any other reason not to believe that.
Okay. So then, if he's a good guy, why wouldn't they go talk to him?
They should. That's what I was arguing for.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. I was asking, what would he do about it?
I said give him 150 points.
No, you
can't give them. What would he do about Snape?
Put a charm on him. Bewitch him.
To do what?
One of his faculty. He would just do that.
Mm-hmm.
Think of the media. The media would have.
He's got to have some sort of something that he can do to somebody so that they can only do what he wants them to do.
Whoa!
Like mind control?
Yeah, or
total body control.
So
you think mind control is okay to do?
In the wizarding world, yes.
Oh, dear.
What?
Seems pretty unforgivable to me. I don't know.
I've seen worse things in the wizarding world.
Okay, Jared.
You have?
Okay, so you think that Jared thinks they should go to Dumbledore and snitch on Snape, who Hagrid has told us that Dumbledore trusts. Anyways.
Okay, well, the next morning, Harry and Hermione get their detention letters, and it's scheduled for that night. So, they, being Neville, Draco, Hermione, and Harry, they all meet with Filch in the entrance hall, who escorts them to Hagrid's hut and taunts them a little on the way. He says, "I bet you think twice about breaking school rules again, won't you?" It's just a pity they let the old punishments die out. Hang you by your wrists from the ceiling for a few days. I've still got the chains in my office. Keep them well oiled in case they're ever needed. It's like, what is wrong with this dude?
Is just creepy.
Jared, what are your thoughts on Miss Filch?
Mrs. Filch. I forgot about that.
That would hurt.
No, what are your thoughts on Filch, like as a human,
as a person,
not on what he wants to do to students?
I don't know. She seems like your typical enforcer.
Okay. Who are we talking about?
Mrs. Filch. You guys led me astray. Mr. Filch.
What's his first name, Jared?
Filch.
Bilge
Name is Filch.
Sure.
Oh, he said Bilge Filch. Okay.
Yeah, anyways. Turns out that for their detention, they're going into the Forbidden Forest. And Malfoy is not having it. It's the classic, if my father knew about this. Hagrid kind of shuts him up. I forget what he says, but he says something back to him and kind of shuts him up.
He says, quit being a little prissy boy.
Yeah, exactly. So Hagrid leads them to the edge of the forest, and it tells them that they are looking for a unicorn because something is hurting them.
Look here, said Hagrid. See that stuff shining on the ground? Silvery stuff? That's a unicorn blood. There's a unicorn in there been hurt badly by something. This is the second time in a week. I found one dead last Wednesday. We're gonna try and find the poor thing. We might have to put her out of its misery.
Okay. So Hagrid, being the genius that he is, splits the students into two groups. So he takes Harry and Hermione, and he sends Fang with Draco and Neville.
Doesn't this just seem like a really bad idea?
Yes, I thought at first that this was Hagrid's way of getting rid of Malfoy.
Just disposing of him.
Yes, just dispose. Hey, I don't know what happened to him. He went with Fang and boom, disappeared.
Yeah, he ran into a crossbow in the woods. I don't know how it happened. Yeah, I would agree. Probably not the best idea.
I guess we don't really know about we don't know much about the Forbidden Forest at this point. Besides, it's forbidden. We don't really know what's in there.
He does say that nothing's gonna hurt you if you're with me or Fang.
But then he says Fang's a coward.
Yeah, but Fang's a coward. But people that look at Fang wouldn't know that. I'd be scared of Fang.
Not if he's running away from you.
Yeah, that's true. They start walking down the path, and they hear a cloak trailing along the ground. But after a little bit, the sound kind of goes away, and they don't hear it again. So then they come to a clearing, and they meet Ronan, the half-man, half-horse centaur. So yeah, Hagrid's having a little bit of a conversation with them. They're talking back and forth, asking him about the unicorns. And Ronan just keeps saying the same thing over and over. What does he keep saying, Jared?
Something about Mars is bright tonight.
Yeah, unusually bright. What do you think that means?
I have no idea. Something about that he's seen in the stars.
Yeah, that's a pretty good breakdown.
So, me being the scholar student that I was, not.
I'm gonna beat you to it. I'm gonna beat you to it. Mars is the god of war.
Dang it.
Haha.
So
Roman,
do you think
the
that
Roman god of war?
Is it? That's not Greek.
No, Greek is Ares.
Yeah, that's my bad. So yeah, do you think that means there's war coming?
Do I think that?
No, I'm asking myself.
Well, I had no idea that it meant the god of war.
Okay, well now you do.
Sure. Yeah, there can be a war coming.
Okay. Just then another centaur named Bane shows up, and he's got this like mask on his face that he can't talk. Oh no, never mind. Wrong Bane.
Like Darth Vader.
No, it is Batman thing.
I know.
Anyways, Bane shows up and he says the exact same thing. He says that Mars is unusually bright tonight. But they also say they don't know anything about the unicorns. So just then, they see red sparks shoot up into the sky, and Hagrid takes off to find them. So at this point, Jared, what did you think had happened?
That Malfoy had died.
Fang just went for his throat.
Yeah, I figured somehow, that Malfoy had died. And then, yeah.
Really? That's what you thought?
Yeah. Like
Not
I said, I
Neville?
thought that they went in there to kill Malfoy, basically.
You remember this book is geared towards 11-year-olds.
Yeah, so?
Neville
That doesn't change your opinion
slits
on
his
what.
throat.
Just chomps on it.
Well, Hagrid runs off, then he comes back with Malfoy and Neville, and it turns out that Malfoy had spooked Neville, and he shot the sparks up in the air, and Hagrid is... What did I even write?
Livid.
Yeah. He's ticked. So he changes up the groups, and he puts Harry with Malfoy now. So Harry and Malfoy are walking around, and then Harry sees the unicorn out in a clearing. And he's about to start walking over to it. And just then, he hears a slithering sound. Harry had taken one step forward when a slithering sound made him freeze where he stood. A bush on the edge of the clearing quivered. Then, out of the shadows, a hooded figure came crawling across the ground like some stalking beast. The three of them stood transfixed. The cloaked figure reached the unicorn, lowered its head over the wound in the animal's side, and began to drink its blood.
Gross.
So, yeah, Jared, what did you have any thoughts about that at this point? What did you think was going on?
Savage.
Yeah, that's pretty gross.
Yeah, this book's for 11-year-olds.
Touche.
So, what about the
Yeah,
slithering, though?
It's a snake. It's a devil.
Says the hooded figure came crawling across the ground like some stalking beast. Okay, it's a what would you say?
A savage.
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 Well,
I didn't actually think of any of what it was at this point.
were you scared?
No.
Were you excited?
Yes.
What is wrong with you?
What did I do wrong this
You're
time?
excited that this thing is murdering this animal?
No, I was excited to figure out what it was.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's fair.
Yeah, well, Malfoy screams and takes off running, but Harry can't move because he's transfixed with fear. And then a pain like never before pierces his scar on his head. Harry kind of staggers backward, and then the cloaked figure turns and starts coming toward him.
Da, da, da.
Were you a little bit nervous at this point, Jared?
No, I was excited. What, I think Harry's going to die? No. There's 10 books after this.
You never know. Harry could die. You don't know.
And then come back to life?
You
Nah,
don't
that's
know.
ridiculous, Jared.
No.
Didn't you say earlier that there was magic that could raise people back from the dead?
Yeah, I'm sure there is.
So then why couldn't Harry just die here and then get raised later on?
Because Harry is the, what's the word? Like, he represents magic.
What? What are you talking about?
Like, so if he goes down, boom, wizardry over.
Why?
Because then the dark side takes over and,
Oh, so you're saying Harry represents the light?
yeah, and then everything would go bad from there. And then the world would end.
Okay.
Wow. All right, I'll keep that in mind for 3 pages from now when Harry dies.
All right.
I don't know which version of the book we gave you. Probably the newer version where he has to live now, but the original version, he's dead right now.
In the series is over.
Yep. Then she realized she had a real money-making thing on her hands, so she changed it. So, yeah, Harry kind of staggers backward and falls, and then Firenze comes to his rescue, another centaur. And the hooded figure kind of backs away and flees. And then Firenze lets Harry ride on his back because he's not safe to get him out of the forest.
And the other centaurs just hate that.
Yeah, there's a little bit of there's a little bit of an argument there. They're kind of like you're dishonoring yourself and stuff like that. They're very proud creatures.
Yeah, they call him a common mule.
Yeah, they did. Anyways, Firenze then explains what unicorn blood does. What does unicorn blood do?
It keeps you alive. The blood of a unicorn will keep you alive even if you're an inch from death, but at a terrible price.
Yep.
What's the price?
The price, you'll live a half-life, a cursed life, from the moment the blood touches your lips.
Man, that gives you goosebumps right there.
Yeah, what do you think that would be like? I don't know, trying to like picture in my head what I think a half-life / cursed life would be like. Does that just mean you can't like I don't know what that would mean. Does that mean you can't eat food? Or you can eat food but you can't taste it?
Like a ghost?
Oh, so you think I guess it could be a ghost, but how can a ghost drink blood? It's a ghost.
I don't know. I think
Why
it's
did you
just
go to food for the first thing when you thought of half-life?
because he's a fatty.
Could have been anything else, and he goes to food.
Okay, what would you go to?
A cursed life. I think like bad things happen to you. Like you get a flat tire, and then your car crashes, and then you get another car accident, and then your house burns down, and then that's what I think of. Not, I couldn't taste food today.
Yeah, I agree, Jared.
Okay. Well, I have another question is, so it says that unicorn blood will keep you alive even if you're an inch from death. Do you think you just have to take it one time, or you have to keep drinking it?
Well, apparently got to keep drinking it because this is the second unicorn that died.
That's true. But how often would you need to drink it then? Like,
well, once a month. I don't know. Not a vet. I'm not a magical vet. Magical being vet.
I suppose. Okay.
Merwin Irwin would know. We could ask him.
Well, no, he's not here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so he explains what that does, and then he implies that you know who is the one behind all this. But before Harry gets to ask the actual question, it's like, do you mean it was Volt? And then he gets cut off by Hermione and Hagrid. They showed up, and they're like, are you okay? Are you okay? We heard something going on. So they're saved. And so they're heading out they all get together, and they walk out the forest. And who do they run into?
I don't know. Who?
Jared, who do they run into?
Hagrid.
Hagrid's with them, Jared.
I didn't know. I just said a name.
Crikey's! Well, welcome back to Merlin Irwin's Magical Creatures Podcast within a podcast. I'm Merlin Irwin, your host. Man, that was quite a scary scene. I didn't dare go in there, but I'm guessing that now I'm going to try and lighten the mood a little bit by telling you about these beautiful beasts. To start off, I can tell you that they are classified as a 4X beast, meaning they're dangerous, but a skilled wizard can handle them. Now, unicorns aren't neat. They are neat because when they're born, they're gold, and they turn silver around 2. They grow their horn at around 4, and they turn completely white around 7. Just a fantastic beast, really. Hairs of their tails can be used in the cores of wands, causing them to produce the most consistent magic. Now, like we can see from the forest there, their blood, if you drink, can make the drinker immortal. they would be cursed. They'd live a half-life if they did. So whatever that thing was, had that going for it. But that's all from me, I guess. Thanks for listening, and now go save the world.
I thought he was gone. He came back.
He did. He
He sounded pretty scared. He sounded really scared.
Yeah, it took him a second to fall into character there, but he made it.
You would think that Merlin Erlin, what's his name?
It's Merlin Irwin.
Merlin Irwin. Oh, I always mix that up. Would be brave and like go into the forest with him.
Yeah, I thought Quirrell was talking for a bit there.
Yeah, he'll have to pick up his game, I guess. But yeah, so Harry, he runs back to the castle, and he immediately wakes Ron up and tells him what happened. Harry couldn't sit down. He paced back and forth in front of the fire, and he was still shaking. Snape wants the stone for Voldemort, and Voldemort's waiting in the forest, and all this time we thought Snape just wanted to get rich. Firenze saved me, but he shouldn't have done so. Bane was furious. He was talking about interfering with what the planets say is going to happen. They must show that Voldemort's coming back. Bane thinks that Firenze should have let Voldemort kill me. I suppose that's written in the stars as well. So all I've got now is to wait for Snape to steal the real stone, and then Voldemort will be able to come and finish me off. So, well, that's pretty intense right there, huh? Let's see. So Hermione's a little bit worried, but she's quick to say that if Dumbledore is around, there isn't anything to worry about. And then the chapter ends. Harry jumps back into bed, and he sees his invisibility cloak. Someone had folded it and put it back on his bed for him, with a note that says, "Just in case."
Now, this is the part where I go back to, he thinks he just saw Voldemort, right?
Correct. We don't know that it is, but he thinks it is.
He thinks it is. Well, he just saw something horrifying, drinking unicorn blood.
Firenze kind of told him that it was, but...
So why, at this point, wouldn't he go talk to someone?
That's a good point. I never thought about that.
I don't know. Anyways.
Jared, who do you think put the cloak back on Harry's bed?
Oh.
Last we saw, it had been left in the tower, right? And it's left with the same note as before.
What do you mean the same note?
Well, for Christmas, he got it, and it said, "Just in case," didn't it? Or put it to good use.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess it's not the same note as before. But who would put it back on his bed and write "just in case" for it?
Well, somebody who knows what's happening. So, like, my first thought would be Dumbledore. But whoever gave him the cloak in the first place, which I don't think we know that yet.
Right.
I would assume that person did it again and knows more about what's going on than the rest of the population.
Okay, so originally you thought that like one of Harry's parents' friends gave it to him, right?
Yeah.
So how would that tie in?
One of Harry's parents' friends could be Dumbledore.
Whoa!
Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah. Well, now we're up to the next chapter. The fun chapter when stuff gets real. Chapter 16, Through the Trap Door. So it's exam time, and Harry's finding it hard to focus because, of course he would be, because Voldemort could come through the door and kill him any day. He can't sleep because of his old nightmare that he keeps having, but now it has the hooded figure in it as well, which would be terrifying. But after exams, they go down by the lake, and Harry's scar starts hurting again. And it's hurting a lot this time. And he had this feeling like he was forgetting something. So he needs to use...
No, he don't need to use it. He knows it already. His scar is a remember all. He's got a built-in remember all, as does every other human being in this world.
Well, Harry gets a thought. He suddenly jumps to his feet, and he says, "I've just thought of something. We've got to go see Hagrid now. Don't you think it's a bit odd that what Hagrid wants more than anything else is a dragon, and a stranger turns up who just happens to have an egg in his pocket? How many people wander around with dragon eggs if it's against wizard law? Luckily, they found Hagrid, don't you think? Why didn't I see it before? So they sprint over to Hagrid's house. They bust in, and they start questioning him. Let's see. So you know that night you won, Norbert? What did the stranger you were playing cards with look like? And he says, I didn't take his cloak off, yada, yada, yada. Never saw his face. Then Harry asks him, did you mention Hogwarts at all? Might have come up. And let's see. Then Hagrid starts talking. He says, he asked about the sort of creatures I look after.
He asked a bit about the sort of creatures I look after. So I told him. And I said what I always really wanted was a dragon. And then I can't remember too well because he kept buying me drinks. Let's see. Yeah, then he said he had the dragon egg and we could play cards for it if I wanted. But he had to be sure that I could handle it. He didn't want it to go to any old home, so I told him after Fluffy, a dragon would be easy.
Right, so he tells him about Fluffy. And then he told him...
So I told him, Fluffy's a piece of cake if you know how to calm him down. Just play him a bit of music and he'll go straight off to sleep.
And then alarm bells went off everywhere. The squad, Harry looked horrified. He jumps up and he says, we got to go tell Dumbledore now. So
which is the first... Now Harry's talking some sense. Like, yes, go tell an adult. You are 11. Go tell someone who can actually do something about this.
Correct. Yeah, I agree. But yeah, he takes off, running up to find Dumbledore, and they run into McGonagall. We need to see Professor Dumbledore. And she tells him why. He's gone. He left 10 minutes ago from a letter from the Ministry of Magic. And they kind of start freaking out a little bit. They spill the beans. But McGonagall says not to worry because the stone is too well guarded. But Harry comes to the conclusion after they finish their conversation with her that that night was the night and that they needed to go take it so that Snape wouldn't get it. Which is an interesting thing because if they go get it, how is Harry holding onto it better protection than if it's down in wherever it is? Right?
Yep. That is a very good point. Well, you could just give it to McGonagall and say, see?
Yeah.
I wasn't lying.
Jared, did you find it awfully convenient that all of a sudden Dumbledore has to go? He left 10 minutes ago.
I mean, for a good story. I mean, I guess you could kind of see that coming.
Okay. Do you think he's actually there, or do you think he's somewhere else, or is it just like an excuse he made?
Oh, good question. Because I said before that Dumbledore knows that things are up.
Right.
I think Dumbledore's gone.
Okay.
Yeah. That's what I assume. I don't have any other reason why not to say that.
Yeah.
Do you think it was actually the Ministry of Magic that summoned him, or someone trying to trick him?
Snape tricked him.
Okay. So then they run into Snape, who kind of...
Speak of the devil.
Yeah, they run into Snape, and he says,
You'll want to be more careful hanging around like this. People will think you're up to something.
Which, yeah, of course they are up to something, but...
Why didn't he deduct points? -5, -5, -5.
I mean, yeah, he could have.
Yeah. Yeah, he says, any more nighttime wanderings, and I'll personally make sure you are expelled. So they go back to their rooms, and they quickly hatch... They don't go back to their rooms, but Snape leaves, and they quickly hatch a plan to protect the stone themselves. They're going to have Hermione go watch the staff room, pretending like she has to ask a question to Professor Flitwick. And Ron and Harry are going to go up to the third floor corridor and protect the door.
And both plans just fail miserably immediately.
Because they were knee-jerk plans made up by 11-year-olds. So what do you expect?
Yep.
McGonagall sees them and tells them that to leave and that they need to stop thinking about the stone because it's very well protected. Very, very, very well protected. So they go back to their rooms and then they decide we got to go get the stone ourselves. So Harry wants to do it alone because of course he does. But the squad decides to go with him. And so nighttime kind of rolls around. Harry grabs his invisibility cloak and his flute that he got from Hagrid, which I had forgotten about.
Mm-hmm.
And they go sit down in the common room and wait for everybody to fall asleep. So, everybody's asleep now. They're getting ready to put the cloak on, and they're confronted by the one and only Jared. You alive?
I don't know where we are.
Just who confronts them?
I don't know. I don't remember.
In the common room. In the common room when they're about to go. Who
Oh,
confronts?
Neville.
Yeah.
Man, Neville. He doesn't want them to go, which is kind of ironic because they told him that he needed to stand up for himself some more earlier in the book, and now he's doing it against them. But Hermione then does a spell on Neville, the full body bind curse, and she says,
Petrificus totalis.
Sounds like you swore.
oh, man.
But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it.
That's good. That's good. Petrificus totalis. So they leave the room, and only Ron. They leave the room. They run into Peeves. Harry scares them away, pretending to be the Bloody Baron. And they get to the corridor, and they find out that the door was ajar. So Snape has already passed. Harry gives them a chance to go back because, of course, he does. He wants to be the guy that gets all the attention and the credit. And they both said they'll stay. So Harry uses the flute, and Fluffy falls asleep. Ron opens the door. Harry gives the flute to Hermione so she can keep playing. And Harry jumps through the trap door first. And he lands on a soft plant. So he's feeling pretty good, successful. He calls the other people down. When they get down there, it turns out that the plant has kind of wrapped up Ron and Harry a little bit around their legs, and it's called Devil's Snare. This trick with this plant is the more they strain, the more the plant tightened. Yeah, they're getting tangled by the plant, and Hermione remembers that you need fire to kill the plant. And she's like, I don't have any wood or matches or something. What was it?
And then Ron says, are you mad? Are you a witch or not?
So of course, she remembers, and she whips
Just
out her
conjures some
wand.
fire. She just conjures some fire. Quick a minute.
Yep. And the plant lets them go, and they have completed the first task. Jared, did you have any thoughts on this?
Second task. Second task.
That's true. There's the dog. Jared, do you have any thoughts on this this task? Any interesting observations?
No, but thankfully they had more than one person.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, no kidding.
How would one person get past it by themselves?
Throw fire at them themselves.
Okay. That's okay.
Well, most likely it's an adult going down here, and they can just be smart and use their wand right away.
Do they have their wands with them?
Yes.
Yeah, they always do.
Oh, okay.
It's like your phone. You always have it.
Yep.
I don't.
Okay, whatever.
Well, good for you, Jared.
So then they move on down the passageway, and they come to a room full of jeweled, bright birds, which actually turn out to be keys. So they do a little bit of thinking, and it turns out that they have to catch the key that unlocks the door so they can move on. Which, wow. If you had one person who you needed to catch a key with you in all of Hogwarts on a broomstick, who would you pick?
The best seeker ever.
Very convenient. This plays right into Harry's strengths, of course. So he catches the key. They unlock that. They walk through the door and into the next room. The next room.
How do they find which one it is? Because isn't there hundreds of them? I forget.
There are hundreds of keys, but the
didn't one have a broken wing?
See. Oh yeah, I was gonna say, see if Jared knows how they found it.
Time out. How does Snape figure out which key to use?
Yeah, right.
No, but like, how did he catch it if he didn't have the best seeker?
Oh, he just.
Well, I'd assume, I thought about this a lot before too. Well, not a lot, but I assume that he did some sort of like spell that like stuns everything in the room and it's just like really slow moving. In my mind, I picture like this like burst of energy from him that just like shockwaves through the whole thing and everything all of a sudden like starts floating around really slowly. That's in my.
So I don't know if that's then he's true. And then he can easily catch it.
Maybe it's like old man in basketball. They got their own tricks to get things.
But yeah, the one that they found had like a bent wing or was flying weird because someone had already caught it. But yes, they walk into the next room and it's a giant wizard's chess board. Which, if you had one person that we know in this book that you need to play wizard's chess for you, who would you pick?
Ron.
Oh, man. How convenient. Plays right into his strengths. Interesting. Turns out they need to play and win in order to advance. Luckily, Ron is good at chess, so he decides that he will lead the charge, and he takes the knight position. And then, yeah, they start playing chess, and the chess pieces are just hacking each other apart. And then Ron has to make the sacrifice play to win. Which, is that how chess really works? Like, if you move to a spot to, like, he didn't say check, right?
No.
So why would the queen leave and expose the king?
Because it's probably the only thing she could do. So chess, there's a lot of stuff going on in chess. So Ron apparently figured out one move where if he moved there, then the queen would have to kill him, and then Harry could move in and checkmate. Yeah,
it's the queen wouldn't have.
Yeah, it makes sense.
It checks out.
Okay. So he makes a sacrifice play. The queen comes over and smacks him in the head with her hand.
So stone
he's dead,
hand.
Right?
Yeah, like a stone hand.
It's a stone hand. She smacks him in the head. He's got to be dead.
No, he's unconscious.
Yeah. We all know he's unconscious.
Do we, though? Do we? I don't think we do. Harry
it's
an
an 11-year-old book. No death.
Okay, well, they go into the next room. They leave Ron behind. And that turns out there's an even bigger troll than the one that had gotten in Halloween. But it's already knocked out. So they move on to the next room. And this room is a potion logic puzzle. I had a question for you, Jared. Did you, like, when you read this, did you try to figure it out at all, or did you just
I just read right past it.
Yeah, so did I. I did not feel like spending the time.
No, me either.
Well, I tried to a little bit, but we don't actually have enough information to figure it out because you need to know the size of each bottle in each position, and we don't have that.
Right.
So unless that's the chapter's cover, the picture in the cover of the chapter. I don't think it is, but yeah. So if you had a logic puzzle and you needed one person in Hogwarts to solve it for you, who would you pick?
Dumbledore.
Oh, okay. If you had one other person. Yeah, I was going for Hermione there, but that works too. Now, why would you say Dumbledore, Jared? We don't know anything about him. All we know is he likes lemon drops.
I don't know. I figured he's smart. If you're the head of a school, you gotta be smart.
Yeah,
I guess. Yeah. Well, Hermione solves it. she decides that Harry's the one that needs to go on, and Ron's the one that she needs to go check on, and then she's going to send a letter to Dumbledore to get him to come back to the school. So they each take their potion, and they walk through. So Harry walks through into the last room, but the chapter ends by saying who he sees isn't Snape, and it's not even Voldemort. So Jared, who do you think it is?
Quirrell? Quirrell's doing some sort of trick?
What do you
Quirrell's
mean?
doing some sort of trick?
What do you mean he's doing some sort of trick?
Quirrell could be in there.
So you think it could be Quirrell? Why would Quirrell be down there?
Because he's got to do whatever spell. And maybe he has to be in there to do a spell.
What spell?
To
What are you
protect
talking
it?
about?
Yeah, to protect the one that Snape has been trying to get from him this whole time.
Oh,
So would you, if he's in there, would that mean that Snape would be like in there too?
Yeah.
But it says so. You think Snape's like hiding? Because he didn't see Snape.
Did he see the stone?
He did.
Nope.
It did not say he saw the stone either.
Okay,
It
yeah.
says-
So Snape might have the box or whatever has a stone in it or something.
no, there's
And
no
then-
box. All we know
Well,
is that
if he
there's
thinks
someone there.
He could think there's a box.
Okay.
Sure.
Well,
Just finish your thought, Jared.
So whatever they took. So when they took it out of Gringotts, what was it? Just a bag?
It was in a bag.
Okay, so Snape's got the bag, and maybe there's like a trapdoor or something outside. So and it's only open if Quirrell is doing his magic trick. So Quirrell's sitting there holding his wand, and his door's open. So while Snape's traveling,
traveling? What?
Here's another question for you. Did you rule out that it could be Snape or Voldemort in disguise?
no, no.
So do
be,
you
I
think
guess.
you think that's a possibility, and then like Harry doesn't recognize him?
Sure.
Like,
The
what if
match.
they transform themselves into somebody else?
That'd be pretty cool.
You think that's possible?
Sure.
But that
It's
never crossed your
magic.
mind.
We haven't read about people transforming into other figures, have we?
Remember with McGonagall?
He transforms into a cat.
Oh, yeah. It could be that, yeah. Oh.
So what do you think Snape would transform into then?
Snape would be I don't know, a snake.
Oh.
Okay. I guess it could possibly be like an animal like that, but it did say that there was already someone there.
Yes. A human.
Oh.
You think it's, I mean, so what about somebody working for Snape? Do you ever think it could be somebody working for Snape?
Yeah, but we haven't read about anybody else, so I have no reason to think that there's now another person involved in this.
You
We
think
got,
it could,
we got one chapter to read. Finish.
right. Do you think it could be Dumbledore?
No.
Why not?
Dumbledore's overseas.
Allegedly.
Is he though?
Oh. I'm assuming so right now.
Okay, do you think it could be McGonagall because they went and they told
No,
everybody?
it's not McGonagall. No. Absolutely not.
Okay, so your final prediction then after all this discussion is
It's
who?
a bad guy.
It's a bad guy.
Who?
I'm gonna
Jared?
guess. I like your Snape. Snape disguises himself. Although he doesn't have the Sorcerer's Stone, does he?
We don't know. All it says is there was someone standing, or there was already someone there. We don't know if they have the stone. We don't know if they don't have it, and we don't know if there's more people down there that are like hiding that he can't see right now.
But we do know it wasn't Snape, and it wasn't Voldemort.
From Harry's perspective.
Yeah, it's not Voldemort because he would have drank it already, and the story would be over.
Okay.
So there's got to be more to it than that. It could be Snape, not in the flesh.
What? Not in the what?
flesh. Not
In
in
the
the flesh.
flesh. Oh man, I guess my final thing would be Snape or Quirrell.
Okay, and if it's Snape,
If it's Snape, he's disguised as a snake.
and if it's
No,
Quirrell,
we
he's
know it's not an animal.
If
We know
it's Snape, he has a mask on and is disguised as a good guy. And
Okay.
if it's Quirrell,
and then Scooby Doo comes in and takes off his mask.
And if it's Quirrell, then what?
he's a changed man after the spell.
What do you mean he's a change?
He's not scared anymore. He's completely over to the dark side.
So then he'd be bad.
Yeah.
Okay. So
I think Quirrell was like on the fence. He had like this much goodness left in him, and Snape's slowly draining this goodness out of him, and then as soon as he snaps, boom, he's gonna be on the other side.
So if it's Quirrell, you think Snape's behind it.
Yep.
Okay.
So you're going back.
So
you no longer think that Quirrell's like defending, or is like the last defense against Snape.
He is, but once Snape cracks it, then
Cracks what?
Quirrell, it gets past the enchantment or cracks Quirrell's like remaining goodness that he has left in him, then Quirrell is gonna join the dark side.
Okay. So you said it could be Snape or it could be Quirrell. Which one are you gonna go with?
Snape.
Okay. Well, I guess we can wrap it up then. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about, or are we good?
Nope, we're almost done though, Jared. You can read that last chapter.
Sweet.
We're done with book 1.
Yeah. So
After
all right,
2
well-
months of reading.
yeah. Well, thanks for listening, everyone. If you enjoyed the show, don't forget to rate and review us if you haven't already. It may not seem like a whole lot, but it really does help us out. You can check us out on Facebook and Twitter at Keepers Pod. And if you want to take the next step in supporting the show, you can check us out at patreon.com/SecretKeepersPod, where you can become a patron and gain access to different content. I don't know what that is yet. Maybe we'll figure out what that's going to be soon. But yeah, that's all for now, though. So until next time, we solemnly swear we'll be up to no good.
Where do we get that from?
Get what?
Up to no good.
I softly swear we're up to no good.
Have we read that yet?
I don't know. Maybe.
There we
All
have
right,
it.
Jared. Are you ready to turn the page?
Yeah, I am ready.
Okay. Turn the page. Hold on. Before you do,
Oh.
you're going to read the first sentence of the first chapter and then know where you're going to close your book. Okay?
I gotta close my book?
Then you got to close your book.
All right, here goes. It was Quirrell. It was Quirrell. Oh, can I keep reading?
No.
Oh, I gotta
Nope.
close the book.